I gathered everybody here today. I like to address everybody. It's so much easier for me to address everybody here. Like, when everybody's standing in front of me and you can hear the tone of my voice, instead of like in a newsletter where it seems like maybe I'm yelling or when I'm not, or, if I'm trying to get a point across to people, like, I just want to, we've had a rash of people like lately, like either like not coming to class or quitting or, just making all kinds of excuses, and I just want to reiterate to a lot of people here, like, besides me trying to teach everybody like the art of jiu-jitsu, the art of jiu-jitsu is not just an art of like self-defense, it's a lifestyle, okay? It's the same thing as health, okay? I try to instill in you guys a no excuses attitude, like, which is going to help you a lot more than just like on the mat and in this room, like when you're training, okay? It's going to help you in life. I'm trying to teach like a life skill, as well, okay? Now, when it comes to like older people, some of you guys might not think you need like life skills and stuff, but everybody does, okay? If you ever, at any point in your life, if you're not trying to improve yourself in any walk of life, like if you're not living, you're dying, okay? Like, so anything that you can take out of jiu-jitsu is a plus. Jiu-jitsu is great on so many levels, and a lot of guys, you don't really start to understand the benefits of what we're doing here until like probably like purple belt, okay? So, if you sat here and you asked any one of my purple belts, after class, has jiu-jitsu changed your life for the better? Like, every single one of them will emphatically say no. I mean, yes, okay? They will explain to you, like, how jiu-jitsu, they will tell you how jiu-jitsu has changed their life for the better, okay? So now, when you guys, like, try to quit over the stupidest of reasons sometimes, and we try to talk you out of it, like, you can't possibly understand, like, what we're doing for you. Like, it's so hard to make you guys understand at the beginning of your journey what you're going to get out of this, okay? It is life-changing. It's life-changing, to tell you guys, for a lot of you newer guys who haven't been around me for a long time and like don't know my story, okay? I made a lot of sacrifices when I was coming up. I mean, there was, when I started training, I really got the jiu-jitsu bug early, and when I was training at Henzo's, I mean, I was dead broke. I think really the only person who knew me back then was Maria. I don't even know where. Okay, the sacrifices me and my training partners made to train. I mean, me and my friend Jamie Cruz, we used to meet every day, drive into the city together. We had no money. I mean, we would eat hot dogs afterwards just because that was the only thing we ate all day. We would park some, Henzo's was so expensive to train at, because it's in the city, we used to have to pay to park and pay tolls. I mean, there were times when Henzo moved to the new academy, me and Jamie would park sometimes 7 to 10 blocks away, just to save on parking and walk. We were walking through, not to sound like, the old man, oh, we walked through snow. But we did, like we walked through snow. Me and my friend Jamal used to meet sometimes when we were going to day class, we would meet on Route 3. If we didn't have enough money to pay for parking, we would take the train in. So anything that's great in life requires sacrifice, I explain to you guys a lot, especially guys who get injured, how important it is to continue training. Like, if you hurt your knee and you can't train, you hurt your shoulder, you can't train, you hurt your arm, anything, okay? You should still be in class, okay? Come to class. If you want to put your gi on, put your gi on. If you want to sit on the side, but keep yourself in that routine. I'd like to see you guys still put on your gi, tie your belt every day so it becomes like breathing. Okay, but you can still train your mind even when you're out. Again, getting back to my story, I in 2001, okay, I was competing in a tournament. It was one of the first, all of a sudden, they're so popular now, like the 8-man tournaments for money. Me and my friend Kurt Pellegrino were on opposite sides, and it was like one of the first, like super fight tournaments for money. And in the semifinals, I was fighting a guy, and I tore my knee. Okay, and I just didn't tear my knee. I tore my ACL, PCL, and LCL all in one shot. Okay, so the doctors told me I was never going to compete in anything athletic again, which to me was just foreign because my whole life I had been an athlete. Okay, I always played baseball, football, basketball. I wrestled in high school. Like my whole life, I was just an athlete. So, they basically were telling me they were going to fix my knee so I could walk again, not so I could do anything athletic. you know, that was just unacceptable to me. Like, you know, I put my mind to it, and, you know, and I just, from that day, I got in the mindset that I wasn't going to allow this to stop me. You know, and there were some bumps along the road. Like, I remember, you know, I had, just so you guys understand, like, I had to move. Like, you know, I had an apartment on the second floor. They told me I was going to be bedridden for 3 to 4 months. I think the only time in the first 6 months that I got out of the house, I remember Maria and this girl Debbie picked me up to take me to a party. You know, that was the only time I even left my house for like 5, 6 months. You know, and you know, you're talking about like I was like 30-something years old. When you're 30 and you have to move back in with your parents, that's not fun either. Okay, but unless some of the youth in America now. I you know, it was rough. And I remember one day, my grandmother would go buy me the newspaper every day, and I remember reading an article about Jamal Lewis. For you guys, I know half of you guys aren't football fans, but he was a football player. He was a very good running back, and he had tore his ACL in preseason. The year before he was out. So this was April, and I remember reading how Jamal Lewis had just begun running that morning, and I was like, wow, you know, this guy, he's a professional athlete. He only has one of the injuries that I just had, and he just started running 6 months later. Like, oh my God. And I remember, like, tears came over me. And I remember my friend Joe Prioli, who's passed on, he called me that day, and you know, he kind of walked me through it, and that conversation changed my life. And you know, that conversation got me through a really hard time, and I wouldn't be standing here today. The school wouldn't be here. Nothing would be here if it wasn't for that conversation. So when I talk about like no excuses and how I don't want to hear this stuff from people, this is why. Like, that day changed my life. You know, I'm not an excuses person, okay? I don't want to hear anybody's excuses. I believe people can do anything that they put their mind to do. So when people want to, so just so you guys know, if you come to me and you start a sentence with, in this tone, Professor Sav, do you got a minute? I don't want to hear the rest of the question, okay? I don't want to have the rest of the conversation. I don't want to have it, okay? That's why every email you guys say, talk to Mike, because Mike is much better at dealing with that conversation than I am, okay? In 2 years, Mike's not going to want to hear that conversation either, and it's going to be some new guy who's working for us, and like, you know, and you're going to have that conversation with him, because I know, I can see Mike, what he's going through now, what Mike's going through now, and like he already has that mindset that he doesn't let things break him, and you know, and like you know, there's no excuses. You know, too many people in the beginning of their jiu-jitsu journey get into like this mindset, like, you know, like they're failing. Nobody's failing, okay? You're not even qualified, and I'm not saying this in a mean way. You're not even qualified to think about like what you think if you're failing, okay? I can see things that you cannot see. I'm doing jiu-jitsu for 18 years. I'm a black belt. I can see a hip movement that you're making that you don't realize. It's not about these stupid little rolls that you have at the end of class or during class. It's not about that. I have this conversation with you guys all the time, and I will continue to have them until it sinks in with people. When you are a brown belt or a black belt, or you're competing nationally, or for whatever reason, everybody's journey is different, and I'm getting to that. Lost my train of thought for a second. When you're competing nationally, you're not going to remember like the little silly roll you had in April, like on a Tuesday night against Jim in the corner, and Jim tapped me out with a Kimura. In your long journey, in the grand scheme of things, that means nothing. It means nothing. And you can't compare yourself to everybody else in the room. Like, you know, like it's funny, for as great a success as Mike has had here, like, I think a lot of blue belts were comparing themselves to Mike. Oh, I started when he did, look where he is now. He's a freak, okay? He trains 7 days a week, okay? You cannot get into the process of comparing yourself to other people. Like, everybody's journey is different, okay? And your accomplishments, do not belittle your accomplishments, even if it's just a stripe, Okay, if you earn a stripe, that is a great accomplishment in your journey. Take a second and give yourself a reward and be proud of yourself that you accomplished something. You walked into these doors and you said, I want to learn this art and I want to better myself. And if you got to a spot in your journey where you accomplished like even getting the second stripe on your white belt, that's no different in your journey than, let's say, Sean winning a brown belt tournament. Okay? Sean's training a long time. That's where he is in his journey. Maybe earning a belt is important to Sean. Maybe winning a tournament is important to Sean. Maybe getting better in one specific area of his jiu-jitsu is important to Sean. Okay? But right now, your thing is just like, I got to get through the warm-up. Like maybe like you joined up and you were so out of shape you can't even get through our warm-up. If you walked in here and you were that person, and we have had people here who couldn't get through the warm-up, if you could get through the warm-up, that's an accomplishment. That's the first step in your journey. Like the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's your first step. Okay? You need to just focus on yourself. Don't compare yourself to what everybody else is doing. Okay? It's a very important thing. Okay? The main thing in your whole process is you can't quit. Okay? You can't quit. Like I just can't, like I can't even like think about quitting in any walk of life. I remember even a couple of years ago, I was starting to have problems with the same knee that I was talking about before, and I went to the doctor, and and I said, Doc, my knee's really bothering me, and he was sitting in a chair and he looked up at me with disgust, and he said, well, Chris, he goes, I fixed your knee so you could walk again, not so you could bend it around people's effing heads, and I looked at him and I go, well, this is what I do, and and he, and then he explained to me like what I was going to have to do, but like at no point in my life do I think about quitting. Okay, there's like how are you to know what you could achieve if you quit? I just don't understand that. I don't understand how that even creeps into somebody's mind. You should want to better yourself at all times. You should never stop striving to be better at everything that you do, not just jiu-jitsu. Okay? So once you allow yourself to quit anything, you're going to quit. And for you people, I see a room full of people here, and like some of you guys have even brought your children here. Like, what kind of an example are you setting for people if you quit? Okay, like you have children. Do you want them to the first sign of like first sign of something bad comes up, like you're just gonna quit and go the other way, like give up? You don't want to set that example. You need to strive on. Like you need to continue doing whatever it is you do, trying to make yourself better at all times. Okay. The biggest thing we get here is about money, And again, like, for the guy, I'm not yelling at anybody here. I'm just trying to get you guys into a no excuses mentality. When you guys call up here, and not only do you want to quit, but then you say it's about money. Come on, man. Like, if you think anybody here, if you think Sean or Mike is getting rich working here, or like, or if I'm in this for the money, you've got the wrong place. I've had guys quit this school when they lost their job on the way home. Like they just got laid off. They haven't been laid off 15 minutes. And I had a guy, I'm not even going to mention his name because his brother is a friend of mine, but I had a guy lost his job. He called me up on the way home. And he said, I can't do jiu-jitsu anymore. I just lost my job. And, I tried about 10 minutes, to explain to this guy about like how his life isn't over and stuff. And he just, after a while, I was like, what? I don't even want this person in my room anymore. The stuff that was coming out of his mouth, and like, I don't even want him to be around like my guys. That's another thing, guys. You always talk about like try to surround yourself with people with like-minded goals. Like there's a lot of people. If people haven't done jiu-jitsu or any type of martial art or any sport that has tried to like elevate them in any type of life, like. They don't understand. Like they don't understand if you're getting like pressure from outside people to like tell you, oh, don't do this or you can't do that or you can't do that, and if the reason is over money, that's just ridiculous. Like think about this: is I'll just use this because I don't believe it to be a lot of money, and like it sounds like it's a lot, and it is a lot in reality. But like, say $1,000. Is $1,000 ever going to change your life? Like, you know, could $1,000 change your life in any way? Is it going to make you poor? Like, you know, if you don't have $1,000, are you going to be poor? Or are you going to be rich if you get $1,000? I remember I had a student who when I had nothing, you know, when I had nothing when we were in the old school, you know, the guys that are here a while remember the old school. Like, I was working 3 jobs to pay for the old school, just to pay the rent at the old school, you know. And even then, when I had nothing, I had a student who I offered to buy a car one time so he could come to class. I said, listen, if you could go up Bridge Road and find the car for $1,000 or less, I'll buy it for you. How's $1,000 going to change my life? It would change his, you know. It would change his at the time so he could get to class. I'm trying to help this guy better his life, you know. Like, I don't understand that whole analogy. Like, you know, you guys have to, you know, you have to try better than that. Like, everything is about effort. That's what I'm asking people for today. Like, I'm asking people for effort. I want you to try. I can't try for you. I can give you all the tools. I can give you a room full of people who want to succeed, who want you to succeed, even more importantly than that. They want you to succeed as bad as you want to succeed, okay? I can provide all these things for you. I can teach you the jiu-jitsu. I can teach you the life skills. We have upper belts here. This school is better than ever. You know, we have a lot of upper belts here that can help you too, even when I'm not here. There's so many people before class, after class, can help you in a lot of different walks of life. But we can't help you if you don't try. Okay, you need to try. Okay. Effort goes a long way. You know, like wins and losses are a dime a dozen, but like nobody can ever question effort. If you give your best, people are always going to like look at, you know, that's all I ask of people. Like, I have people here who I don't think will ever tap somebody out in their entire life. You know, I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me. You know, this is actually a great story. My friend Justin Garcia runs the Jungle Gym in the Bronx. And, you know, you guys think I'm crazy. Justin's up there with me. Justin tells a great story of a guy who walked into his office once and thought he should train for free. And Justin was explaining to him his views on life, which are much stronger than mine. And the guy goes, but Master Chim, I'm good. And Justin looked at the guy and he says, no, you don't. You suck. And the guy goes, what are you talking about? Like he goes, I can go out there right now and tap everybody out. So Justin goes, oh, you mean about jiu-jitsu? I thought you were talking about life. And that is one of my favorite stories. Like, you know, it's you know, it really puts things like in perspective for people because, you know, they just think that, you know, things are about like wins. There's always going to be a time when people are rolling and you're going to be at the top of your game and, you know, maybe you're training for something and you're going to go through people in the room. You're going to see the same people on the way up as you see on the way down. So, like, you know, that's an old saying, and you know me, I love my sayings. You know, you need to stay humble. Like, you need to stay humble, you know. But, you know, I'm getting off subject here. You know, I want you guys to put the effort in. You know, it's the effort. You know, if you give the effort, I guarantee you results here. Like, I guarantee it. I mean, if you look at, like, what we've done here in a short amount of time, our school, I would put up our school against anybody's. Okay, I got guys in this room I know could compete with anybody. There's people here that, I see people in here helping each other get jobs. Like, I'm so proud of, like, what this room does for each other and the way guys help each other. And, you know, the last tournament we went to, I don't even care. You know, the most important thing to me, the last tournament was probably the best tournament we ever had. And it wasn't because, you know, I love to like use that stuff to post, oh, we had 26 competitors and 26 people won medals. That's unbelievable. But more important than that, the thing that I was even more proud of was so many people came to watch all the kids. They don't even know a lot of the kids' names. Then they came, they stayed all day to like watch, like, you know, to watch the older people train. And then we went out to eat as a team after that. Mike got hurt. People took him to the hospital, took him home from the hospital. Like, you know, stuff like that. I notice all of these things, and these things make me so proud. You know, so proud of, like, everybody in the room. Like, you know, this is what having a jiu-jitsu school is about. Like, you know, this is what this room is about. Like, together we can accomplish so much. Alone, you're not going to accomplish as much. There's actually a Helen Keller saying like that, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But you know, alone we could accomplish a little bit, but together we could accomplish so much. You know, so like lean on that person, and if you have, you know, if you have like real problems, like about like your training or about like life, then you could come to me. Just don't come to me with garbage. Like, you know, like you want to quit. You want to quit? See Mike. Like, you know, I don't want to even talk to you at that point. Like, you know, I have no room in my life for quitters. Just like I'm telling you people, try to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. I surround myself with people who want to be better all the time. And if you're not one of those people, there's just really no room for you in my life. You know, and I don't really even want you around the people that I'm trying to help elevate their own lives. You know, if you're a quitter, there's the door. Like, you know, no room for you here. Okay? You know, there's a lot of things I learned in my life. You know, like, you know, one of the parts, the line between like work and success is not a direct line. Okay? You know, like meaning like if you work hard, you'll be successful. Like, you know. You know, I've learned that, like, you know, I used to always believe that if you work hard, you know, I'm a dumb guinea, you know, like, my father taught me, my grandfather taught me a long time ago, like, you know, you work hard, you're going to be successful. That's really, you know, it's a way to be successful, but, like, it's not a guarantee. But the guarantee I can give you is if you don't work hard, you will never be successful, okay? Like, you know, that, it took me probably till, like, I was, later in life, you know, to like realize that, like I was just like, you work hard. Yeah, you got to work hard. You need a little bit of luck too, and like, you know, but the people who quit, the people who give up, those are the people who aren't going to be successful. If you continue to work hard, hopefully good things come for you. But if you don't, it's guaranteed you will not be successful. Okay? You know, there's a lot of guys. I posted something about Lou Holtz yesterday. Lou Holtz is, you know, I love to watch like great speakers. Lou Holtz is one of the great speakers. You know, there's guys I really recommend that you guys watch some of these guys. Like instead of watching like car accidents and like, you know, animals fighting with each other and all these stupid things that you guys watch on YouTube. Like, you know, type in like Lou Holtz. Or, you know, I know me and Matt talk about all the time, Jim Valvano. Jim Valvano, to me, is one of the greatest speakers. Dick Vitale, you know, sports speak. But then, like, even great people, like I'm a big Jim Rohn guy, Zig Ziglar, like all of these guys. You could learn so much. Just like, you know, if you watch these guys for 5 minutes, they might say one thing that changes your life. Like, there was just a great 30-30 for special, 30-30, the ESPN things about Jim Valvano on recently, and he was telling a story how it's something just like this. He was at a basketball camp, and the Wheaties guy, Bob Richards, I think his name is. Anybody here eat Wheaties? Nobody. But the track and field guy that's on the Wheaties box, I think his name is Bob Richards, and he said something at one of the things that Jim Valvano said changed his life. You know, and he was. And you know, and I've used this saying. I'm sure you guys have seen me post it before. Like every day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things, and you know, and that really goes back to like, you know, like what I'm telling. If you give a little bit of effort, like you don't know what you could accomplish. Like you know, for you guys who came to Professor Lovato's seminar, you know, I know Raphael for a long time, even before we were friends, and. You know, he told you guys his whole story coming up and like, you know, how far he had to travel, and he didn't really have a lot of instructors until he met Salo Ribeiro and stuff. You know, Raphael is like one of the perfect examples for you guys, you know, of somebody who just, you know, through hard work, actually went on to greatness. I mean, you know, Raphael, when I was coming up, when I used to compete, you know, he used to lose a lot, you know, and like now he's like, I'd say one of the top 10 jiu-jitsu guys in the world. You know, like I put him up against anybody at any time. Like, you know, for you guys, you know, who watch, you know that to be true. You know, he's a guy who, you know, took his lumps. Like he took his lumps. You know, for you. So for the guys that are like a purple belt, you know, if you're a purple belt and you're losing, I've told people here, I won one tournament at blue belt. One. I used to lose all the time. You know, and I competed a lot as a blue belt, and you know, I won one tournament. You know, I started to have more success as a purple belt. You know, but you know, for some people, you know, you don't know. Like, it's part of your journey. Like, you might stink at blue belt, and then one day, I've seen people here just wake up one day, and like in the course of a month, like I'm like, wow, who is that guy? Like, you know, like I can't think of one off the top of my head. Like Eric sitting right in front of me. Eric was a guy who I remember in the beginning, I was like, wow, okay, you know, he was trying, he was plugging along, I didn't really know, and then one day, he had like one of the best guards here. I'm watching the guy like move his hips, I'm like, wow, this guy's good now. Like, you know, it can happen for anybody, you just have to show up for class. Like, you have to show up for class. You know, it's, you know, it's a pretty simple formula here, guys. Like, you know, if you just don't give any excuses, you give me a little bit of effort, you don't quit, I guarantee the results. You know, I've been really lucky in my jiu-jitsu journey. You know, you guys kind of stuck with me, but you know, I've got to train under. You know, my first instructor was David Adib, who was a tremendous jiu-jitsu instructor. I learned a lot from him. You know, and all these speaking things that I do, Dave was the best. Like, you know, I learned so much, even how to speak to people from him. Like, again, beyond jiu-jitsu. But then I was lucky in my jiu-jitsu journey. I got to train with Hoyler Gracie, under Hoyler Gracie, under Henzo Gracie, under John Donaher. You know, Sean Williams and Rodrigo used to teach classes. You know, so I've been very, very lucky. You know, I've been very, very lucky in my journey to train under some amazing people. You know, right now, I still learn a lot from Raphael. You know, when he comes in. All my friends come in, you know, we always exchange ideas. I never stop learning. Like, you know, I'm constantly trying to be better, even like when I can't train. You know, for the last, like, you know, couple of months, I've been pretty sick. You know, like a lot of people don't even know. You know, there was a point, you know, probably like 3 months ago, I was waking up every day for 2 weeks thinking I was going to die. You know, and you know, once I healed myself, like, you know, right away, I'm like back on track, and I was, you know, I'm watching videos, I'm trying every day to get better. Like, you know, I put these things out there for you every day. I'm constantly studying the people who I think are at the top of their games now. You know, like, you know, who's doing what. I want to know. I want to know. And I want to show you guys. And I'm putting it out there for you guys every day. I'm asking you guys for 5 minutes every day. I really try not to post videos that are like more than 8 minutes, because I know your attention span's probably about 2. You know, so I try to find short matches for you guys. But I'm asking you guys for 5 minutes a day to watch a jiu-jitsu match, because there's usually something in that match that, you know, that we're working on that week, or something like, you know, for instance, this week, you know, I posted a video of Marcelo Garcia, one of his matches the other day. He did 3 things in that match that we've been working on for the last 2 weeks. Hope you guys noticed. You know, so I'm putting it out there for you guys. Like, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to try to help you guys, you know, but I need a little bit of effort back. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna stop this, you know, this speech here with like, you know, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys ever, and you know, you know, one of my instructors, Henzo Gracie, you know, always had a saying, you know, that's pretty famous, and all you guys know it. I posted it in our newsletter every month. You know, a black belt is just a white belt who didn't quit, and it's so true. You know, like, if you guys just don't quit and you just keep plugging on, you guys can all get there. And I can tell you, there is no feeling like a feeling of like, you know, something that's been a lifelong journey of yours, and then when you reach like the pinnacle, and then like, you know, Mo will be able to tell you now, and then you reach that pinnacle, and then you said, I don't know anything, and then the art opens up to you in a whole new way, like, you know, and you realize that like you're just a white belt again in a different form, you know, and you know, so you know, I just want you guys to always remember that. And to use one more Henzo phrase, you know, like, okay, guys, let's stretch out and let's clean the mats. Okay, so, you know, thank everybody for coming, for you guys who had work and, you know, and stuff like that, because I don't really get to speak to everybody like this, you know, unless it's through like email. Like, I like to speak to people as a group, and, you know, I want everybody, like, you know, let's help everybody, like, help each other try to improve and be better every day. Okay.